So here we are in our last category, the modern Fender type trem, which has just got 2 posts just here. You can also get like Wilkinson trems and the Music Man trems. They all have just kind of 2 posts just here. Here we have the LSR roller nut. Now this guitar is actually a 1987 Strat. It came with the old-fashioned roller nut, which I've got on this. This is a 1990-91 prototype Jeff Beck Strat, and these are the first kind of roller nuts that were on the market, and they were a bit of a lottery whether they kind of worked or not. Fortunately, this one works great on mine, but I had one of those on here, and it was just a disaster. It wouldn't stay in tune. So quite an easy retrofit is one of these new LSR nuts. So considering this is a 1987 guitar, it was great. I knew it had a lot of potential. It just wouldn't stay in tune, but now it stays in tune great because of one of these nuts kind of fitted. This is on the Jeff Beck 2006 Jeff Beck. These are great nuts. So if your guitar has no roller nut at all, it's an easy upgrade to actually fit one of these. No problem at all, and it's worth doing. If you combine that with the locking Spurzels, which all these guitars have got, locking Spurzels. Fender wanted, in the 80s, they wanted Spurzel to kind of, they wanted to fit Spurzels to all their Strats, but Spurzel couldn't actually keep up with the demand, so Fender actually designed their own locking machine head, which some of these older Strats have, but sometimes you get lucky and you get an early batch and they have the Spurzels on. But you can't really beat this combination. Rolling nut, locking machine heads, and 2 posts just there with no friction at all. The amount of float I've got on this guitar, if I check the G string, so it's just over 3 frets, sort of a tone and a tone and a half and a bit. It's about there. I've taken the back plate off this guitar so you can actually check how I've got it set up. Two springs, slightly higher tension springs, because I'm going to use 2 of them rather than 3. Set at an angle, and the claw just kind of in just there, which gives me, I don't know if you can check it out, if the camera can pick this up, it gives me about that much kind of on the bar, on the actual block. And all my guitars are pretty much set up with at least 3 frets pull up on it. With two springs, the reason I'm using 2 springs is because you can do this little kind of trick, which I'll show you later on DVD, but you can get these kind of trill noises, which is a lot easier to do when there's 2 springs rather than 3 springs. With 3 springs, you get a little bit of a trill, but it's not quite the same. Just flicking the bar, and that's what happens with 2 springs set under tension. These are quite kind of sort of high tension springs, and with 2 of them set at an angle, you get that response. So long as there's no friction, again, no worn parts. It's like the Floyd Rose thing. There's a blade, kind of a sharp part of the block that sits on these posts. And they can, over the years, they can get blunted. And my guy that sets up these guitars, he kind of sharpened them up. And these posts aren't worn, so it's very, very responsive. Works really nicely. One more thing to check if you want that kind of response, those trill responses, is these posts have got to be kind of set at the same height. If the actual block is set at an angle like that or like that, then the actual smoothness of it will be affected. You want it set kind of horizontal again, and these blocks should be kind of the same sort of height. And then you'll get a real smooth kind of action with it. But you know, as long as everything's working, the springs, there's no friction at the nut there. You've pulled your strings again, even though you've locked them on the tuners. You've got this set okay. It's a great system. It's all good. So chances are your guitar fits in one of these categories. Now we're going to move on to some exercises.